Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. What's up, you lovely people? What is up? So I want to start off by saying I apologize. I did not get to the comments last week. And I'm very sorry about that. You guys know I definitely look at the comments and I look forward to the comments. And when I'm just annoyed at people and life, aside from talking to Jehovah God, I look at the comments and I remember that we all have this show and the haves and have-nots and comments to talk about, and I'm cheered up. Okay, like the world is just a better place, knowing that I have you wonderful people to speak to. So I do apologize. I did not get to comment, but I will. Okay, even if I'm late. Like, well, the next episode, I'm replying to comments from last week. But that's fine, because we can do that here. We're that cool here. Also, you guys know I started my job last week. Okay. There's a lot of work to do. I guess that's why they call it a job. And you guys know I'm licensed. I actually just got my car a few days ago. So I just want to say, just for the record, all right, because I'm gonna put it out there. The car is kind of banged up already. But hold on a second, let me explain, because you guys are about. I know what y'all about. Oh, she already messed up. It's not even like that. Listen, I was at the gas station. All right, I was at the gas station, so I'm parked. Like, I'm ready to get my gas. I'm there at the gas station. I think this is like the second day I had the car, or third day, something like that. And I'm at the gas station, and then I realized that my thing to put the gas in is on the other side. So I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta go around because I can't do it like this. So there was another one like right there. So I try to turn, like, and there's like a pole right here. It goes like, it's like a loop in the ground. And so and it scratched my car. I was so mad. But listen, you guys know I was mad. Okay, because I'm a defensive driver. I'm always scanning, because they tell you when you're driving, you have to drive for everybody. So you're always scanning. And I've only been on the road a few days, and you already have people who turn into a lane when it's too late. Listen, we all done it before, and only 4 days of driving. Yes, I've done that, and I've gotten beeped at. So, but at least, no, I don't beep at people because I like to give them that chance. Like, so I'm very calm. Even if I want to hit that horn, I don't do it because it annoys me. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, because hold on a second. Okay, we're just gonna go on for a second. Okay, because I'm already mad because my door is kind of scruffed up. It's not noticeable, but it is. Like, I just don't like. I don't like to look at that side. And I maybe drove across a lawn. Okay, but it was my lawn. Okay, and I was coming out of the driveway, so I'm reversing or whatever, and then this car freaking pulls up, and I'm not gotten to that point yet where I'm like, oh, they can wait. I'm like, no, I have to hurry up or else they're gonna get really annoyed. So I'm trying to rush through. So I knew I had to back up and kind of turn the wheel a little bit more if I wanted to come out on a perfect angle so I could just come right out. But I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. This car's right here. So I just kind of pulled up. I knew I didn't have enough room. And I kind of drove over like that curb there, my lawn. And I just went like that. And I just knew it looked so sloppy. And I'm not a sloppy driver, so I went to driving school and everything. Okay, mostly because I didn't have anybody to teach me how to drive. But so I didn't like that, and I just wanted to put it out there, like, just to have it out. I'm not trying to hide it or nothing. I just did. I had to do it. Okay, but I'm getting to a point where I'm like, no, they can wait. Okay, I'm over it. And we'll talk about the other thing at the end if we have time. The other thing that I cannot stand. Okay, anyway. Sorry, you guys. I'm just rambling on. And let me tell you right off the bat, the stylist is fired. Okay, I've had to fire a stylist every week. Look at my edges. Look at look at that. Look, do they look tame to you guys? No, they don't. You know why? Because I'm firing the stylist. Huh? Yeah, bring one of your friends in or something. Tell them they got a job. 25 cents more than you're making. Yeah, because you're fired. I can't deal with it anymore. No. Oh, you work for the Jedi too, and he fired you as well? Then I tried to give you your shot, kid, but you blew it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Have a good one. So anyway, sorry you guys. Okay, well, let's stop. Oh my gosh, 4 minutes in, I'm still not even saying anything. Okay, sorry. But feel free to skip forward, by the way. This is Loving You Is Wrong, season 5, episode 8. Don't lose your deposit. All right, so this episode, in my opinion, had a lot of dialogue. Not too many scenes, but it was a good episode. All right. So we open up where we left off last week. We remember Randall comes into Brad, giving him this fake apology, and is telling him he's dropping the lawsuit, and then proceeds to tell him that the baby might not actually be his, it might be Lucian's. So Brad tells him, I'm going to count to 10, and you need to be out of here. So just as Randall's about to leave, Eddie actually comes in. Brad, you're never going to believe what I have to tell. And he sees Randall, because remember, he's going to tell Brad that Randall and Alex were hugged up in front of the house. So he comes in. He's like, well, if it isn't you. And so Brad is like, Eddie, yeah, he was just leaving. He goes, nah, I don't think so. And he locks the door. So then, so Brad is like, come on, Eddie, like, I don't want him in my office. He needs to go. So Eddie's like, nah, I got a better idea. He pulls out the gun and puts it straight to Randall's head. And Randall's like, oh, we're really doing this again? He was like, oh, yeah. Now do you want to tell me what you were doing here? He goes, I was apologizing. And Brad, and then he goes, you were apologizing. Is that right, Brad? And he goes, yeah. And then he was like, oh, so you were really coming over here with the nerve to apologize? And Randall's like, mm-hmm. Like, he's real smug, and it was annoying the mess out of Eddie. So, hold on. Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna kill you right now. Because I'm tired of seeing you everywhere I go, everything I do. He's like, I'll kill you right here. In this office. He was like, Brad, I'll drop this dude right here. Blood all over the place right here, right now. And then Brad is like, Eddie, just stop. He was like, oh, you think I won't do it? Brad is like, I know you will, but I'm telling you, just stop. And then so he was like, don't tell me. He was like, and don't tell me you got suckered in by this fool's apology, because you didn't get suckered in by that. And Brad is like, look, I just want him out of my office. He was like, you better not have fell for this dude's apology, because guess what? He was right in front of your house, hugged up with your wife, right in front of your kids. And then Brad is like, what? And then we actually cut to commercial. We come back. And he's like, what was that? And Eddie goes, you heard me. He was hugged up with your wife right in front of the house. They was about to make out again before I came up. And he was right in front of the kids, too. And he goes, is that right, Randall? Is that what he was like? Yeah, of course it's right. You know, Eddie's not even letting Randall talk. He's like, of course it's right, man. Can't you hear the words coming out of my mouth? And then so he's like, Randall, is that right? And he's like, Brad, what don't you get? Like, I'm telling you. And then he's like, Randall, is that right? And Randall tells him, he's like, we were just talking. He goes, talking about what? He goes, the child. He goes, oh, I think he's talking about your child, Brad. And then he goes, you mean your child, talking about Randall. And Brad goes, no, actually, we think it might be Lucian's child. And Eddie is like, what? And he goes, yeah, Randall here was just telling me that Alex apparently was sleeping with Lou. And then Eddie is like, oh, so what? She's swinging from every jungle tree in town now? Is that what's going on with your wife? And then so he's like, Eddie, he's like, nah, because now I really want to know. And then so he goes, tell him, Randall. And he goes, yeah, tell me, Randall. So he goes, yeah, the baby is Lucian. He was, I'd have shoot you in your tongue for telling me such a lie. He goes, no, it is. Like, ask her. He goes, you know what? I will. I'll ask her and I'll ask him. I'll ask them both. And he goes, you do that. He was like, you know what? I'm so tired of your smugness. And he puts the gun back in his pocket. He goes, Brad, any of these windows open? And then Brad goes, no. He goes, oh, you gonna shoot me? You gonna throw me out the window? Because now he just messed with him now. Because he know Eddie not really gonna shoot him. And he goes, oh, how about to do both? Shoot you and then throw you out the window. So then Brad is just getting fed up with Eddie. He's like, Eddie, just let him go. Like, I don't even want him in my office right now, dude. And at one point, Brad even kind of tries to help Randall before he found out about them being hugged up in front of the house. And Eddie goes, is he really apologizing? Like, what exactly did he say in his apology? And Brad goes, he said that he was sorry. And he goes, really? And so he's really trying to cover for Randall. And then he kind of hears, because he knows Eddie is crazy. Then he hears, oh, wait, you was hooked up with who? Because now Brad is considering actually getting back together with Alex. And we know this. But so now he's kind of rethinking it. So he's like, you know what, Eddie, I would like to keep this job. So none of that is going down. He goes, Brad, some things are worth losing your job over. All right. The fool, you done already lost your family because of this dude. Like, don't let him keep doing this. And then he goes, I'm just gonna go. He goes, no, it's not gonna happen. And then Brad goes, Eddie, let him go. Okay. He goes, okay, I'll let him go. And he puts, he's chill. And then he goes and stands in front of the door. And Randall's like, you're standing right in front of the door. He goes, I know where I'm standing. He goes, well, how am I supposed to get out? He's like, I told you, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick a window. And then Brad goes, Eddie, just let him out of here. Like, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. And he goes, no, I don't think so. And then he's like, Eddie, just move. And he goes, listen to your master, Eddie. Listen to your master. So now Randall is really playing with him. He goes, oh, really? You got something? And then Brad actually comes up and moves Eddie out the way, like shoves him out the way. Like, are you kidding me? We served together. You think I can't take you type of thing? So he shoves him out the way. And Randall he goes, bye, Eddie. So, because, Randall's a psychologist, so he does the mind thing. And it always works on Eddie because he's not on that level of intelligence. So it's kind of like a caveman getting upset that he can't find his food, But even cavemen had a little bit more intelligence than Eddie. Let's keep it 100. All right. At least as of now. Anyway, so Randall gets out of there, and Eddie's like, "That's all you're gonna have to say for yourself? That's it?" And then Brad is like, "Eddie, I'm not gonna go around killing people just at the drop of a dime." And he's like, "Oh, but you could jump into the lake saving babies? That's what you could do?" Now, Eddie, you didn't already came up with this BS talking about, "Oh, why would you get in the water to save a baby?" He already gave you the answer. He said it's a baby. The baby didn't do anything, and then when you call him a disgrace and everything, Brad already told you he wasn't with none of that. So, and the question is, why do you keep showing up to the job? Because then he told him off tonight, and then we see that he comes back to Brad's job next week. Like, dude, I don't want to see you. What don't you get about it? And he actually tells Eddie, he goes, "It's getting harder and harder to be your friend." And he goes, "Come on, Brad, like, what is wrong with you?" He goes, "What's wrong with me? No, what's wrong with you?" And he goes, "Are you serious? I'm the only one trying to protect you." He was like, "Eddie, I'm done. I don't want any of it. I just want peace." He goes, "You're never going to have peace. She's still sleeping with this man, Brad. You're going to let that happen?" He goes, "You know what, Eddie, just get out. Just leave me alone." He's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "I need you to leave me alone, and I want you to get out." He goes, "Okay, I'll leave, but I don't even know who you are anymore." Like, I don't care. Like, that's the whole thing. Brad has already known probably since they got out the war that Eddie was crazy. And he's been okay with that to a certain extent. But now you're just starting to do too much. You're saying things that even an insane person wouldn't say, and you're just losing it. You lost it. What is wrong with you? Okay, so moving on. All right. Then we switch to Alex. She gets a call from Dr. Roston. And Dr. Roston is like, "How are you?" She goes, "You know, I'm good." She's like, "I just wanted to check in on you. You know, checking on you, make sure everything was okay." And she goes, "Yeah, you know, I'm doing all right, you know, considering." And she goes, "Well, I have your son down here." She's like, "Oh, well, thank goodness. Like, I'm just so glad he's okay." She was like, "Well, I wanted to know if maybe did you want to come down to see him?" She was like, "What?" But then, you know, she's hyperventilating and all that because she's so happy. She's like, "But the judge said I wasn't allowed." You know, that, like, that kind of breathing in, but like that crying thing that she does. But the judge said I can't. I ain't nothing. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, she's doing that. And she's like, "But the judge said I couldn't see him." And she's like, "Well, I told the judge that when he got here that you wouldn't need to breastfeed him. So you can come on down." And she's like, Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah, you know, but you cannot take him out of the nursery, Alex." And she goes, I won't. She was like, "Alex, you have to promise." She goes, "No, I won't. And then she goes, "Well, how soon can you get here?" She goes, "I just have to make a quick call and get a sitter for the kids, and I'll be down there in a minute." So then she's like, "But thank you, Dr. DeRoston, thank you." She calls Esperanza. And she's like, "Hey, Esperanza." And the first thing Esperanza starts with, "Can you believe what Travis is doing to Kelly?" And then, like, Alex is trying to act concerned, but then she's like, she's like, "I have like something else to say, you know." So she's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even know they're having problems." She goes, "Problems? Girl, they ain't having problems. He's legitimately stalking her." And she goes, "Yeah, that's so crazy. Where is she?" And she goes, "She's down here at the station, still trying to give her statement. She's been here a while." And she goes, "Well, can you get here from work?" And she's like, "Well, technically, I'm not on the clock, so yeah." And she goes, "Well, would you mind watching the kids? The Dr. Roshan just called me and said I can come down to the hospital to see my kid." And she's like, "Oh, you know, that's great and everything like that. I get to go breastfeed them." And she's like, "Oh, that's great." She goes, "Yeah, I can come pick up the kids." And then she goes, "Can you actually give me a ride?" She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just forgot you don't have your car." "Yeah, girl, I can give you a ride. Actually, I'll come pick up the kids, and then I'll drop them off to Kelly, kind of like a trade-off, since she's going to be leaving. I'll just give the kids to her, and they come back to the house." So she's like, "All right, thanks," and I hang up the phone. All right. So she just ready to go to the hospital to see this child, which, remember, at first she couldn't even look at the child because the baby was black. So this is an interesting turn of events. Yeah, so now it's my. I would have been like, "Dang, girl, I gotta come pick you up," and nah. Anyway, all right. So then we switch to Natalie. All right, and Lucian is asking her, "Why are you calling? I don't even know why you called this guy. He's not gonna be able to help us. So this is a complete waste of time." She was like, "Well, we have to try something." Knock knock. Who's it at the door? That fake is this probation officer that reported Joey. Now, Big Lou already didn't appreciate him because he pulled you aside like a real man in the hospital and told you, "Listen, my son is on his deathbed, and I would appreciate if you did not try to blow this out of proportion. He could have been killed, and he saved somebody's life. Yeah, he had a gun on him, but we're not going to do this right now." Because when he showed up at the freaking hospital talking about, "Oh, I need to see Joey," and Lou was like, "He's on his deathbed. You want to talk to him about a gun that he was carrying?" You got to be kidding me. He tells him to get out of here and don't try to contact Natalie. So he didn't appreciate this dude. So he already didn't like him. So it's a knock on the door. He comes in. And he's like, oh, hey, Miss Hennings and all. And then tries to shake Lucian's hand. He goes, how you doing, man? And Lucian just looks at his hand and he's like, and then Natalie goes, Lucian. And she goes, what? No, he goes, what? He's here for work, to talk, specifically to talk about Joey. That's it. And then so Natalie goes, do you want some coffee? And he's like, he don't need none of that. And then Natalie is like, Lou, come to the kitchen with me so we can get the coffee. So she's like, listen, if you're not going to help me, you can go to my sister's house and pick up the girls. He was like, I will, as soon as this dude leaves up out of here. All right. So then she gets the coffee, goes up to him, and goes, do you want some sugar? And he goes, no, black is fine. Which, bye. You know what I'm saying? Any other time I'd be like, okay, like, that's a nice little comment right there. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, but nah, dude. Lou and Natalie are together. All right. Not nobody like you. You a seller. What you could have done was said, listen, this is a young brother trying to get it together. I'm going to give him a pass. Because it was in your vicinity to report it or not to report it. And Lou pulled you aside to talk to you. And you still won't reported it. Why? We don't know. But you did. Because for something you feel like you're above for some reason. Because you're a parole officer. Like, don't get carried away. You know what I'm saying? You still a brother, whether or not you like to admit it. So I'm a little over this dude right now on a lot of different levels. So yeah, he goes, black is fine, and Lou rolls his eyes in the background because he already know, oh, you trying to flirt with my girl now? You know what I'm saying? So Natalie caught it too. She kind of ignores it. He goes, oh, this is a lovely home. And she's like, thank you. Can we talk about Joey? He's like, yeah, you know, I told you over the phone, I don't really know what I'm gonna be able to do to help you. And she goes, yeah, but you don't understand. Yeah, he goes, I told you, you know, he violated his parole. Like, it's the judge will have to decide his fate. And she goes, yeah, but he was at a point where he was turning his life around. And then all the parole officer kept saying was he had a gun. And she goes, yeah, but this guy was trying to kill him. He goes, he shouldn't have had a gun. And then he goes, yeah, but she goes, yeah, but he saved somebody's life. He goes, he shouldn't have had a gun. She goes, then what should he have done? He goes, he should not have had a gun. I'm over him. So then that's pretty much all he kept saying. And then he goes, yeah, he shot a man in cold blood. And that's when she says, yeah, he was trying to kill him. And then she goes, do you know how hard it is for a black man to do anything right after he gets out of jail? And he goes, yeah, and I have many young black men who, she goes, then you understand why, you know, how difficult it might have been to get his life turned around. But he could have been out there slanging, but no, Joey was really turning his life around. He didn't go back to slinging. He goes, I'm sorry, but it's in the judge's hands. There's nothing I could do. And Lucian takes the coffee. He goes, that's exactly what I thought. And just like, get your ass out of my house. And Natalie is like, Lucian. And he's like, no, there's nothing he can do. And then he's like, he's standing here like he's got all the power in the world, making googly eyes at you, but there's nothing he can do. And then Natalie is like, we need him. Stop. He's like, get your ass out of my house. Just telling him, like, you need to get up out of here. Because he really was standing there like he had all the power. He just standing there. And then go try and talk to Lou. He goes, look, man, I understand. He goes, look, bruh, I understand you're upset. He goes, I'm not your bruh. And I'm not upset. You're just doing your job, right? He goes, yes, I am. That's right. And, you know, he's being on. He's standing there with a real smug attitude when him and Natalie are going back at it. Because he's telling him to get out. He actually looks at his watch. And then he's like, okay. And then Lou was like, exactly. He was like, can you get Joey out of jail or not? He goes, no, sir, I cannot. He goes, then get your asses out of my house. Like, that's what I thought. And then, so the dude is like, excuse me. And he leaves and Lou slams the door. Okay. And I said, that's what I'm talking about, Lou. And you should have been like, matter of fact, here's your coffee. And then you should have shut the door. So that Nat is kind of upset, but you could tell she was kind of enjoying it. All right. Because the dirtbag deserved it. So she's like, what are you doing, Lou? We need him. He was like, what are you talking about? There's nothing he can do. She's like, yeah, but he goes, we'll get him a lawyer. We'll get him a lawyer. She's like, yeah, but we're going to have to go through him. He's like, if he's put on the case again, we'll have him removed. And she goes, oh, look at you. You got all the power now? He goes, I know people. She goes, you probably know the president, huh? $200,000 in your account. I know you got something up your sleeve. He goes, well, it's not quite that much anymore since I've been paying for this house and I paid for Joey's medical bills. She goes, you pay for his medical bills? He goes, well, technically I'm paying. You know, I still got a couple calls to make and things like that. You know, I know people. And then Natalie's like, dang, I'm engaged to an OG. He was like, you better act like you know it. And, you know, they kissing and everything. We're over it. But then at the same time, I was appreciative of it because it was black love, black at its finest. You know what I'm saying? At its finest. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciated it. So he goes, and you gonna stop getting mad at me for wanting to do things my way. And then she was like, you know, that jealous was cute. He was like, I wasn't jealous. Just don't be having no random men come up and through my house. And she was like, I'm sorry. I just had to try and get this settled out. He's like, that's all right, but you can't be getting mad at me every time I want to do something my way. She was like, you know, that's new for me. He was like, well, you gonna have to get used to it. She was like, I'm trying. You see, you got me, right? He was like, yeah, like, you got to know that by now. And then she gonna say, let's go break this bed and we're over it. All right. It ended with him picking her up, and we were over that too. All right. So then we switch. Yeah. Then we switch to Marcy. She's coming to see Miss Louise. And she goes, I thought you'd be out of this bed by now. Like, come on, Miss Louise. All right, she didn't say that exactly, but she did say, I thought you'd be out of this bed right now. She goes, I'm glad you're back. I want to say I'm sorry about Randall, you know, throwing you out of here. She goes, it's fine. Like, how are you doing? She goes, I'm a lot better. She goes, and let's go shopping. Like, come on, let's go. She goes, you're in a good mood. Like, why is that? And Marcy responds with, she was like, you know, she goes, what's gotten into you? She goes, you know, if you were Randall, I would say. She goes, don't say it. She goes, Brad. She goes, I told you not to say it. She's like, I'm sorry. And then, hold on a second. Sorry, you guys. She goes, I was wondering what you wanted to tell me earlier. Remember, she was going to tell Miss Louise she was pregnant, and then Randall came in. So she goes, oh, actually, I can't remember. She goes, you can't remember, and I remember everything at my old age, but you can't remember what you wanted to tell me? And she goes, nope, I'm sorry. And then she goes, out with it. She goes, what? She goes, well, what you wanted to tell me? She goes, okay, are you ready for this? She goes, do I need my defibrillator? She's like, no. It's Brad. I'm in love with him. Are you sure? Yep, I'm sure. She goes, Marcy? No, she goes, well, I don't know. Wait a minute. No, she goes, well, I don't know, Marcy. And then she goes, don't worry, Miss Louise. Like, we're not going to try and be together or anything like that. And she goes, good. Because he's the rebound man. And Marcy goes, the what? She goes, the rebound man. The man that helps you get over the other one. And then one day you wake up and realize this man is not what you thought he would be. She goes, Brad is like not like that. Like, he's everything that, you know, I've ever wanted in a man. And she goes, how do you know that? Like, that relationship is just based on intercourse. And she goes, no, it's not. She goes, are you sure? She goes, no, it's really not. Like, we don't even do that. Like, if anything, like, we'll kiss or sometimes her hold me. Like, he's really good at intimacy. And she goes, well, you want my advice? She goes, of course. That's why I came down here. She goes, let it go until you clean up your old house. Wait a minute. Because I want to get this right. Sorry, guys. Okay, until you clean up your old house, don't move unless you do, or you won't get your deposit back. Okay, so don't let it go until you clean up your old house. Hold on a second. Hold on, because I can't read my handwriting. That's what I'm having a problem with. Let it go until you clean up your old. Let it go until you clean up your old house, because you can't move unless you do, or you won't get your deposit back. She goes, what does that mean? She goes, make sure you're over your feelings for the old house, Randall, before you move into the new house, Brad. And then she goes, or you won't be able to get your deposit back. She goes, make sure, or you won't get to say one day that you're still in love with Randall. Because remember, she still wants her son and Marcy together. Because now she didn't dislike Marcy all these years that they were married. And then now she kind of realizes Marcy is this amazing black woman. And her son really effed it up. But now she wants them together. And we kind of see next week that Randall's actually going to try and piece things back together with her. Because he's like, oh, I thought you went with another, baby's not mine. I'd have been like, I don't care. Because you tried to play me several times talking about you wanted to be with her instead of me. And you just didn't want to give me a divorce. For what? For what? Because you want to claim that you're in love with the both of... He was really a clown. Like, and then, I can't. I can't. All right. Yeah. She goes, you won't be able to get your deposit back. Hence, the name of the episode, Don't Get Your Deposit Back. So she wants them back together. She goes, I do love Randall. And she goes, good. All the more reason to slow it down. She goes, Miss Louise, I will never be with Randall. And she goes, never say never. She goes, never, never, never. She goes, I remember that at the never re-wedding. She goes, you wish. All right. So I don't know though, because she is saying never, and they do say never say never. I don't know, just because we do know Marcy is still in love with Randall and she still loves him, which are two different things. And they have this sort of that same level of importance, but so she's in love with him and she loves him, and she has admitted to both of them. So I don't know, but because sometimes you understand that, but you still understand that I can't be with this person despite, in spite and because of that. So I think Marcy might be willing to move on from him, but at the same time, is she still holding on to Randall? Yes, because you could still be upset, but that level of hostility she's still holding for Alex proves that she's clearly not over him. So, which is understandable, because listen, I ain't really mad at her for, trying to sneak inside this Alex, but at the same time, I don't really get, why do you keep apologizing to Brad and telling him, okay, I'm not going to say this anymore, if you are. Like, if I was her, I would just say, listen, I can't make no promises to you, and I'm sorry about that. Because you told, like, he was like, could you please not do that anymore? And she was like, yeah. But then now here I don't really appreciate it, Marcy. Just on that level that you told him that you wouldn't do it no more, But I ain't mad at her. So then we switch to Aunt Viv, a.k.a. Miss Diane. She's coming out of the county jail, Maxine County Jail. And she's crying. And she gets in the car. Who is she calling? She's calling Kelly. So she picks up she goes, hello? She goes, I am so dang mad at you. She goes, what? She goes, don't act like you don't know who this is. She goes, Miss Diane, what can I help you with? She goes, can you help me? She goes, what is it, Miss Diane? She goes, well, I'm at the jail right now. She's like, okay. She was like, they don't know when they're going to give my son, what did she say? When they're going to let him out on probation. She goes, oh, really? She goes, don't act so surprised. Did you call? She goes, no, Miss Diane. She goes, are you sure you didn't call? She goes, no, I did not call. She goes, well, let me find out. She was like, if I find out that you have something to do with it, she goes, I promise you. I promise you. And she hangs up the phone. All right. And by the way, I want to say, when she was backing out, right, she was in reverse. She was only looking out her rearview mirror. They say you always supposed to turn over your shoulder and do a whole scanning of the area just to make sure. She was only looking. So shame on you, Aunt Viv, because you don't just rely on the rear view. All right. You got to be looking all around. Now, don't try and criticize me, y'all, because like I said, I was looking. It was just another car behind me. All right. Moving on. So, yeah. Then we switched to Alex. And Dr. Ross asked her, like, how was it? She was like, it's just so difficult to leave him. And she's like, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. And Dr. Roston was like, Alex, what's going on with you? She goes, no, it's nothing. She's like, come on, you can tell me. She goes, well, it's Randall. What about him? He's trying to take my son away. She goes, I'm really sorry. She's like, no, don't be. I mean, I guess it's his baby too, so. And I don't get that. How are you so like, you are mad at Randall for trying to take the child, but then when Dr. Roston is agreeing with you, oh, don't be so mad at him. Like, what? Like, why do you try to act like this super nice person? Not saying that she's not or not, but I wouldn't say so, because how are you gonna have an affair? And you were never gonna say anything. That's the whole thing. Kelly told her, remember when Kelly found out? She said, you need to tell him because it's going to crash and burn on you. And you need to, she goes, no, I'm not going to tell him. The only reason why he knows is because she was exposed with them printed up text messages, that Marcy printed out. Appreciate you, Marcy. And let Brad know what was really going on. All right. But anyway, so, don't be mad at him. It's his baby too. She goes, is it? And she goes, yeah, why are you asking me that? She goes, I'm hearing something about multiple partners. She goes, oh, no. She's like, that's not true. She goes, and where did you hear that? She goes, a small town. She's like, yeah, but where did you hear that from? She goes, let's just say when you're married to a judge and he talks to other judges who talk to other judges who talk to lawyers, things get spread around, and that doctor-judicial relationship is pretty close. And she goes, can you help me? And she goes, help you with what? What are you talking about? She was like, get my son. And she goes, well, what do you mean? She was like, keep him away from Randall. She goes, is he that bad, Alex? And she's like, yeah. And she goes, well, would he ever hurt him? She goes, no, not that. She goes, then how is he bad? She goes, well, he's arrogant. She was like, no, one way he's a bad father. She goes, look, he needs to be with me. She goes, listen, Alex, there's nothing I could do legally. You're not even giving me anything that will make him a bad father. She goes, no, he only wants him just to spite me. She goes, Alex, I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do legally till you give me something concrete. You're not saying anything about him being a bad father. You're just saying that he's a mean person, which is not enough. So as she goes, I'm sorry, Alex. She goes, no, it's okay. I'll figure something out. I'm sorry. It's okay. And they're hugging. Marcy comes up just as Alex is about to get on the elevator, and Dr. Ralston sees Marcy. And she goes, congratulations on the baby. And Marcy sees Alex, so she knows this is going to go down, and she's happy about it. So Dr. Ralston goes, congrats on the baby. And Marcy's like, oh, thank you. You know, she's rubbing her stomach. And Alex turns around. She goes, you're pregnant? She goes, oh, yeah, and Brad's the father. And then she goes, well, no, before that, she goes, oh, I'm sorry, do you two know each other? And then Marcy goes, oh, Dr. Ralston, you don't know, this is a witch that slept with my husband. And then Dr. Ralston is apologizing to Alex. She goes, Alex, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. Because now I guess she realizes that Marcy's being spiteful, which, whatever. I'm not giving you no apologies. For what? For what? And then she goes, oh, but that's okay because now I'm pregnant by hers. And she goes, Alex, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. She goes, don't be sorry, don't be sorry. It's okay. And then she goes, well, she slept with my husband, so we're even now. And then so she goes, oh, and then Alex gets on the elevator. She goes, Dr. Russell's like, I'm so sorry. She goes, Marcy's like, don't be sorry. Don't, it's fine. She goes, oh, hold the elevator. And she gets on the elevator with Alex. She's taunting her the entire time. I'm just like, dang, Marcy, because you really going in. And she goes, why do you look so shocked? And then she like picks like lint off her shirt. She goes, why do you look so shocked? And then she goes, say something. She was like, cat got your tongue? She goes, well, Brad got mine too, so I don't know. I was like, I'm dead. I'm done with Marcy. And then she goes, I just love messing with your husband so much. She goes, you know what? That's probably why I got knocked up. And then the doctor actually looks at her when she says that, when she like, I love messing with your husband. The doctor goes, and then kind of turns to the other one because there's like a whole bunch of doctors in the elevator. And she goes, this is the longest elevator ride ever and the worst. She goes, at least for you. She's like, and I'm gonna have a baby, your husband's baby. You know, she's singing. She goes, I think I'll name him Brad. Twinsies, just like yours. She's just doing it. And then she goes, does he do that thing he does, whatever. And then she whispers something in her ear. She goes, yeah, that one. That's how you get knocked up. And then she goes, wow, this elevator is going so slow. She goes, it must be like molasses for you. And then she turns to the doctor. She goes, did y'all know she was sleeping with my husband? She goes, yeah, you guys have probably gathered that by now. But it's okay now because I'm sleeping with hers. She goes, I'm not a bad person, really. It's just, you know, I had to get even. She goes, I have a baby on the way. And then she goes, we're going to be great parents, neighbors, friends. And then Alex gets off the elevator. She goes, where are you going? This isn't even your floor. She goes, okay, bye, witch. You're so dramatic. And then the elevator doors closed. It was so perfect how it went. Like, you're so dramatic. And the doors just, you know. So Marcy is crazy. All right. And now I'm thinking that Brad is not the father just because of how boastful she was about it. Like, kind of doing it to kind of just mess with her. And then, oh, snap. Alex actually comes to Brad's office next week. Is it going to go down? Does she know? Because you know that's probably what Alex came down there to talk to him about. What else are you going to come down there for? But then now he's feeling bad because Marcy's still taunting her in front of him. And he goes, Alex, like, you know, don't be mad or whatever. But she leaves anyway. And then he looks annoyed at Marcy, but we'll see. So then we switch to Natalie. All right. She's talking to the girls and they're like, we have our own room. We feel like princesses. She goes, you are princesses. And they're like, are we rich? And she's like, no, we're not rich. We're working very hard to maintain this household. And keep your rooms clean. And then she leaves out. And then Frank is in there with Lou. And he goes, this my room? My own room? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, well, I don't know where Joey gonna sleep, but this is my bed. And he's like, right. He goes, where is Joey? He's like, he's in the hospital. Is he okay? Yeah, he's gonna be just fine. He actually looks at Natalie before he tells him, you know, where he's at. And then they kind of both decide we're not gonna tell him that he's back in jail. So then he's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let nobody touch his bed till he gets home. And then so the doorbell rings. She's like, I'll get it. He goes, if that's probation officer, tell him to get his asses out of here. She goes, stop. And it's Tippa Haynes, the DNA lady, back at it again. So she comes up to the door and she goes, can I help you? She goes, yes, I'm looking for Natalie Henning. She's like, that's me. She goes, and Lou Morgan? He goes, who are you? She goes, I'm Tippa Haynes from AFTG Labs. I'm here to collect DNA samples. And Natalie is like, what? And she goes, he goes, yeah. She goes, yeah, Mrs. Henning, we have an order for you to give DNA to, wait a minute, to remove you as a suspect from the Ramsey Walter homicide. And she's like, what? What are you even talking about? She's like, well, the murder did take place here. She's like, no, it didn't. He didn't die here. And then she's like, well, it's the same address, so. And then Lucian's like, oh, yeah, it's fine, come on. She goes, no, it's not. I'm not giving my DNA. You know Edward works down there. I don't want my DNA down there. He goes, honey, this is not about Edward. Just come on. She goes, no, I don't understand why I have to. He was like, it's just to clear you, Natalie. Come on. Come on in. So she comes in. And she goes, we're going to need a blood sample. And she says something else. I think she might have, I don't know what it was. Okay, she said a blood sample, though. And Natalie is like, what? I don't do needles. And then she goes, it's okay. She goes, I'm really good. You won't even feel it. And then Lucian goes, no, I'll go first. She goes, yeah, you do that. And then she goes, I'm going to swab your cheek and then I'm going to take the blood sample. He goes, what? She's like, oh, yeah, this is for the paternity test. He's like, I didn't submit to a paternity test. She goes, yeah, well, I might as well kill two birds with one stone since this is what's going on. And she's like, what are you talking about? Natalie now, she goes, paternity? She's like, yeah, for Alex Montgomery's baby. She's like, are you kidding me? She goes, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And so Natalie's going off on her. She's like, ma'am, this is court order. She's like, yeah, well, you need to take that back to the court and tell them to arrest us. And Tippa Haynes looks at Lou, and Lou is like, I'm going to have to ask you to leave as well. She's like, okay, fine, but I'm going to have to tell the court that I came here and you guys refused. She goes, will you do that? And she leaves. And then Lou is like, don't. And she goes, what? He goes, don't come at me crazy. He's like, she goes, I'm not. But I'm sure enough about to go at Alex crazy. And he goes, how did I even get into this situation? Like, how's my name keep coming up? And Natalie's like, I don't know, but I'm going to get you out of it. And then she looks at him. She goes, are you sure that ain't your baby? Natalie, just in true fashion. Really, Natalie? And he just stands there and looks at her like, really? And he doesn't even answer her. Like, you know that ain't his baby, Natalie. All right? You know that. So she didn't want to give a blood sample at all. I'm going to say it was a urine sample and a blood test. But it wasn't urine. That doesn't make sense. They were trying to clear both of them from this. And then Natalie's like, he died here? Because remember, Lou tried so hard to keep that covered up. And so Natalie's like, no, I'm not okay with that. She didn't care what it was for. She was like, no, I didn't murder anybody. I don't even know what you're talking about. And so she's telling her that's what she goes, ma'am, if you need to know anything else, you need to call them because I can't. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. So then we switch. Then we switch to Kelly. She's talking to, remember, Sam, the supervisor, Derek from Hit the Floor. And she goes, how many times do I have to tell you? I did not tell him to pick Justice up. And why aren't you guys going to arrest him? He goes, ma'am, we do have people looking for him. He goes, are you sure you didn't ask him to pick Justice up? She goes, I told you 100 times I did not tell him to do that. He goes, so when he came to your house, you didn't ask him to come there? She goes, are you hard of hearing? And then he does like this little smug smile. And he shows her the message. It like pulls up this iPad and he goes scrolling through. He's like, read this. And then she is like reading it silently. And he's like, read it out loud. And so she starts reading out loud. And she's like, she can't even go through with it. It's like, come over, Justice is in my bed. Don't ring the bell. Come to the back. She's like, I didn't write that. He goes, look familiar? She goes, no, I did not write this. And then she goes, did he give you this? He's like, he did. She goes, did you know people can manufacture text messages? He goes, and how did they do that? She's like, are you kidding me? Like, you're a cop. She's like, oh my goodness. All you have to do is get another phone, put my name in the contacts, and send me a message. She goes, you're a cop and you don't know this stuff? He goes, oh no, I do. She goes, then why are you taking his word for it? Like, why are you doing that? And she goes, it's because he's a man. And he goes, no. And she goes, you know what? Let's just stop right now. Can we get a woman on the case? He's like, yeah, because that'll change the evidence. She's like, you got to be kidding me. He's like, that is so insulting. She goes, you know what? No, what's insulting is that I have been stalked. My house is broken into. My child has been kidnapped. And I have to beg you to help me. Are you kidding me right now? Like, that's what's crazy. That's what's insulting, not that. So he drops the stack of papers on the desk. And she goes, I already told you I didn't send these. I'm not going to read that. And he goes, oh, because those are the same messages, right? And she goes, yup, and I'm not reading them. He goes, well, I am a cop, so I do my homework, and those are not the same messages. So can you read those, please, and let me know if they look familiar? So she picks it up, and he's like, go ahead, read. And she goes, oh, my goodness. She goes, I did not write. No, I got to get this one because it was important. Can you please pick Justice up from the baseball game? Think I may have left the oven on. Can you check it? And so at this point, she's crying because she knows she's kind of screwed. Like, they're not going to believe me. So she goes, I did not write that. And he goes, ma'am, it pinged off a tower just a few minutes from the bank where you work at. She goes, you know what? I'm done. I'm just going to leave. And she goes, you know what? Bye. And then he goes, you know what, ma'am? No, not so fast. And she goes, what? And he goes, you know what? We have work to do down here. Work. Like, there's officers working. Okay? This guy is just not that into you. You need to stop. She goes, he's not that into me? He goes, no. He's not, like, really talking to her like she's psychotic. She goes, you know what? Wow, like, I'm so glad that you guys are doing your job because, like, obviously they're not. And then she goes, I'm getting out of here. Like, I'm done. I'm doing what I got to do. And then he goes, not so sorry. Brain moving faster than I can talk. He goes, not so fast. She goes, unless you have a warrant for me, I'm going home. He goes, I do. She goes, you do what? He was like, have a warrant. She goes, for me? He's like, yeah, next week on If Loving You Is Wrong. So they are trying to lock Kelly up and throw away the key. And next week it kind of teases that Travis and him know each other. Like, maybe he goes to the freaking church too. Remember we found that out about that attorney Kelly was trying to contact? Because just Travis comes in there and he's talking to Sam, the supervisor or whatever. And he goes, well, what about that warrant? He's like, don't worry, man. I'll get it lifted. Like, which, you don't even be saying it to somebody that you don't think did it. You don't be saying it like that. Oh, don't worry, we'll get it lifted. No, you just say, well, we're in the process right now, but you're pretty sure you're in the clear. He was like, don't worry, I'll get it lifted. Like, which, are you serious? So, I don't know what is going on with Kelly, but she is in beast mode. You know what would be interesting right now is if Terrell got out of prison right about now and went to go rough Travis up. Okay, because I'm waiting on that. Don't get sent back to prison or nothing like that. But make sure you have your passport ready. So you a fake passport so you can get out of the country, Terrell, when you do whatever it is that you need to do. We know Travis killed Ramsey, and at this point, he's like, you know what, F Kelly, I don't even love her no more. I just want to frame her for this murder and get on scot-free. And try to get some of the cookie if I can. Or rape her, pretty much. That's really what's going on. Because I don't know something's really wrong with Travis. And I don't really appreciate this. He's so well connected all around Maxine. I'm over it. Like, you're not that. You know what I mean? I'm over it. So, like, rapist, pedophile, maybe, but are you connected? Whatever. I was okay with his father maybe having one church in town, because that's believable. But he the big kahuna, and everybody knows. Whatever. I guess in a town that small, maybe that's the only church. But we not. Really, we're over Travis. All right. Please let me know if I missed anything in the comments. I always miss something when there's this much dialogue. So let me know if I got. Oh my goodness! I just bypassed an entire scene. This is like the longest review I ever had to do. So I don't even know how I did that. Wow. Ben gets a call from Julius, and I don't even know how didn't I get that. That is so crazy, you guys. Ben gets a call from Julius, and he's like, hi, like, who is this? He goes, hey, what's up, buddy? How did you like that car I got you? And then he goes, actually, I haven't driven it yet. And he goes, why not? He's like, well, I'm a cop, and people will want to know where I got the money from. He's like, man, you don't got to drive it around cops. You just get it on the highway, and you just go for it. So then he's like, all right, man, yeah, I'll do that. He was like, listen, I'm calling you because, he's like, so what's up? He's like, well, I'm having a party, and I want you to come by. He's like, gonna be a lot of pure Colombian candy. And, Ben is a drug addict. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm there. When is it? He goes, tonight. He goes, cool, yeah, man, of course. He's like, where's the location? He's like, I'll text it to you. He goes, well, can I bring my girlfriend? He was like, girlfriend? He goes, yeah, man, she's cool. He's like, nah, no girlfriends at this party. This is a man's party. I'm afraid. Okay, remember, Tyler, this is PG-13. All right? Keep it PG. Because we know Ben had been a little sugary. So I don't even know. And Julie's been playing in on the sugar. So I don't really know what's about to go on, but hopefully it's just normal stuff, you know? As normal as a drug cartel party gets, you know? So yeah, he's like, this is the man's party. He goes, oh, but actually I do need a favor. Price of admission. You know, telling him this is how you get in. You bring me this, you're in. He goes, I need a file on Eddie. He goes, and he's looking all around. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I've looked on the net about him. I got information on him there, but I need a personal file on him. He goes, why? He's like, first rule of combat, know your enemy. He's like, I'm not sure I can get that. He's like, come on, man. I know you can. I think you're underestimating. I have a lot of faith in you. He goes, all right, man. I'll try. He's like, you don't try, just do. And don't think of it as doing something for yourself. Think of it as doing something for your best friend. Think of it as doing your best friend a favor. He's like, yeah, all right, man. He's like, okay, I'll see you tonight. Bye. All right, so we'll see what's going on with that. But and they want him to show up alone too, I don't even know. If I was Ben, I wouldn't even go to the party. And he did seem a little apprehensive because when Julius was like, I'll see you tonight, he's like, yeah, sure. So like, I don't think he's dumb enough not to show up because I think he's scared of Julius. While at the same time, kind of intrigued by him in a weird way. But I don't know because I wouldn't have showed up. Like, you sound real creepy over the phone, and I'm just not about to do it. Okay, so please do let me know if I missed something. Please let me know. I'm going to try and get to those comments from last week. So sorry I'm late on those. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm on time this week. I'm not going to be driving over no more lawns or accidentally scratching my car on a gas station pole. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. It's your girl, Jada J. I'll be right here next week. Check me out. The one and only Jada J. The one and only You Are My People. It's your girl, Jada J. You know the drill. I gotta go to school tomorrow. Peace out.